Hi, I'm Dr. Saul Miller. I'm a sport and performance psychologist. And in this video, we're going to be looking at emotional intensity, specifically optimal emotional intensity. And it's one of 4 videos dealing with emotional management so you can create consistent high-level performance. Now, almost all of my clients are extremely motivated to perform well. There's a pressure they have to perform. And there is a relationship between pressure and performance. Pressure, another word for pressure as I see it, is emotional intensity. And in this graph, you can see the relationship between emotional intensity or pressure and performance. At very low levels of emotional intensity, performance is low. They're flat, they're not engaged, they're not charged up. But as they get more and more dialed in, you can see performance goes up till you get to an optimal point where people are at their best, they have a charge, and now with more intensity and more pressure, performance drops off. There is an optimal level of emotional intensity. So the question I have for you is, what is that optimal level of intensity? If we look at this as a scale from 1 to 10, what number on that scale would you be at your best? Now there are different ways to assess it, but the simplest way is just to ask the person, ask my client, what number from 1 to 10 do you think you would perform at your best? Most choose some number between 6 and 8. Of course, it depends on the sport, it depends on the individual. Olympic shooters who want to be calmer when they're really focused on consistent, accurate performance would have a lower level of intensity than somebody who is, wrestling or playing ice hockey. So, what can you do if your emotional intensity, you want to be, let's say you want to be 7 on a scale of 1 to 10. And let's say you're feeling 3 or 4. What can you do to raise that level? It happens sometimes. I would say 95% of the athletes I'm working with, the problem is on the side of too much intensity. But let's talk about, you're down on that low end. You want to be a 7 or a 7.5 and you're feeling 3 or 4. Let's say, you've been playing in a tournament and you're playing a team that you think is very weak, and you're not taking it seriously, you're not doing the mental preparation to get yourself in the right level of focus and feeling, and you come into the event at a 3 or 4. Well, what you better do, as soon as you're aware that that level of intensity is lower than you want it to be, what you've got to do, what you better do is be talking to yourself and say, come on, let's pick it up, let's get in the game. It's taking a couple of breaths, drawing some energy to you, and moving forward. Having good performance, you end up saying to yourself, that's me. Well, this is not me. Start hunting. Wake up the tiger. Wake up the cheetah. What's more of a problem for many athletes, 95% of the athletes I'm dealing with when we're talking about this subject is they want to be 7, 7.5, and they're feeling 9. There are scouts in the stands that are watching them. This is a championship game. This is something very important. This is their moment to shine, and instead of being in that optimal zone, they're trying too hard. What can they do? In these videos, we've been talking about creating the right thoughts. It's coming back to those positive thoughts. I can do it. It's coming back to the technical thoughts that give you the basic ABCs to do it. It's going into your breathing. Now, we have a video that really talks about the importance of breathing. Check it out. Work with your breathing so that under pressure, you have the ability to introduce the thought and create the feeling that's going to help you to regulate that level of emotional intensity. But the first part is getting an understanding that there is a relationship between performance and pressure or emotional intensity, knowing what is your optimal number on this scale of 1 to 10, and seeing at times, from time to time, where you're at so that you don't stay stuck in one side or the other, and you keep yourself closer to that optimal place by managing your thinking and your feeling. You're the boss. It's not just understanding this. You have to work with the elements of thinking, of imagery, of breathing, to be able to have the exact focus that you want to have when it counts. So do the work. Run positive programs. Continue to work on developing your mental game. Watch the videos. Subscribe to the channel. Again, do the work. You can be an outstanding performer if you have the focus and you have the commitment and you do the work.